Hey Nursing Management class, this is Stephanie Medina, and I'm here on my video blog, Nurses Notes. Well, today on Nurses Notes, we're going to talk about delegation. What is delegation? Is delegation a part of my job? Who can I delegate to? And what does it mean to delegate? It might all seem very confusing as a new nurse, but delegation is a part of our job as registered nurses. The definition of delegation is when licensed personnel, registered nurse, transfers responsibility of a task to be completed by a competent person. Why would someone delegate something? Well, delegation is important in freeing up the registered nurse to complete tasks that only she can do within her scope of practice. How do you know if it's the right thing to delegate? And what should you do in order to make sure that delegation is done correctly? Well, you should always remember the 5 rights of delegation: right task, right circumstance, right person, right directions and communication, and right supervision and evaluation. Always remember that you might transfer responsibility to complete a task to unlicensed personnel, CNAs, or other registered nurses, but the accountability always stays with the nurse that delegated that assignment. It's also pretty important that you remember the policies and procedures of your facility, and every state has different scopes of practice for registered nursing, unlicensed personnel, medical assistants, and CNAs. So it might be important to not only know your scope of practice, but the scope of practice about the people you work with on your nursing team. Also, every state has laws about delegation. In the state of Virginia, one of the laws is that we cannot delegate tasks to people who aren't wearing a name badge. That means we can't delegate tasks to family members. Another thing that's specific to Virginia is there's a law stating that a nurse needs to assess a patient before delegating a task to an unlicensed or licensed personnel. Virginia also talks about the accountability of the registered nurse when delegating a task, that although the task might be completed by someone else, accountability always lies with the nurse. So, what are things you can't delegate? Well, these things stick to you like tape. Remember, TAPE. It's an acronym. T, teaching. A, assessment. P, planning. And E, evaluation. Anything that falls under TAPE cannot be delegated and must be completed by the registered nurse. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video blog about delegation. There's a lot to talk about in nursing, and I'm sure delegation is going to be something that takes practice like all nursing. But I hope you enjoy this video, and I encourage you to look up your laws and policies and see how you can use delegation for your healthcare team.